Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Bundesliga show, match day preview show tonight. So we've got myself, Rory, checking in with Rune of Bully News, who, of course, we are in partnership with this season. So obviously, just in case you didn't know, Bully News is a brilliant in English website for Bundesliga or German football news, really. And of course, he's here to provide us with some brilliant fantasy tips. So welcome, Rune. Are you well this evening?
Yeah, good evening. Very well, thanks.
Glad to hear it. So, yeah, it feels like it's been a while since we've done any form of show. Obviously, we've had the giveaway that's been going on in the background. So we will announce the winner. We'll do it after our match day 12 predictions, just before we do our fresh 2.0 fantasy draft. So looking forward to that as well. So lots to look forward to in this show. Obviously, if you're watching along, welcome. Obviously, let us know what you think about predictions and let us know how you're doing in the fantasy league as well. And of course, if you like the show, if you like the channel, please do comment on the channel, on the video this evening, and please do subscribe. Click that red button. Right then, without further delay, let's have a look at some predictions. So, match day 12 coming up. Nice to have a bit of a break now with no international football for a long while. We're okay. So it's just Bundesliga straight through now until the winter break, of course, that we have in German football or in the Bundesliga. So, well, as there's obviously no mark, it's just going to be me and Rune doing the predictions this evening. So Friday night, tomorrow night, we get kick-started with FC Augsburg hosting the champions. So quite an ominous one there for struggling Augsburg. Very quickly, in terms of predictions for me, looks like a fairly comfortable away win, as you'd imagine. I'm going 3-0. Rune, can you kind of talk up any chances that Augsburg might have, or do you think it's fairly inevitable on this one?
Nah, not really. I've gone with the same result, a 3-0 win for Bayern. I think even without, it looks like Joshua Kimmich will be out, and Alphonso Davies is a doubt as well, having just returned from international break. But I still think they have too much quality. So yeah, a pretty comfortable away win here.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, moving on to Saturday afternoon's games. We've got Borussia Dortmund hosting VfB Stuttgart. So my boys got a pretty tricky away game. International break might have done us a few favours in terms of getting some players off the injury table. A bit more time for people to heal. However, it still looks quite a tricky one, this. So I'm going to say a 3-1 home win to Dortmund. Rune, what do you think to this one?
I've gone for the same result this time as well. 3-1 win for Dortmund. I think that that Dortmund's injuries are starting to clear up a bit. Rafa Guerrero's return will be a big boost for them, and they're a great side at home, winning. I think they've won the last 10 games in the Bundesliga at home, and Stuttgart have failed to win away from home. So I think everything indicates a home win here.
Very much so, yeah. Moving on, Leverkusen home against VfL Bochum. So obviously Bochum have been picking up some really impressive results of late. Also, we had a great guest in the shape of Moritz recently talking about Bochum. But I think they may come unstuck in this one despite their good form. So Leverkusen at home, probably quite strong, and we'll look to get a couple of goals, but I'm just going to say 2-0 to Leverkusen. Rune, what do you think to this one?
Yeah, I'll say 1-0 to Leverkusen. I think they were riddled with injuries before the international break, but much like Dortmund, their situation is looking a bit better now in that regard. But I think Bochum can be a pretty tough nut to crack. They're pretty strong defensively. Still think that Leverkusen will get that goal maybe a bit late in the game and get all 3 points.
Absolutely. Good stuff to see. Comment already in from Gavin. Looks like a fantasy related question. So we will get around to answering that, Gavin, obviously when we're talking fantasy in a few minutes' time. Moving on, Saturday afternoon still, Gladbach hosting Greuther Fürth. Again, on paper, looks like a quite easy one to predict. So I'm saying 3-1 to the home team, as Fürth struggles will probably continue despite, obviously the international break, and then maybe having a bit more time on the training field. Rune, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I've gone for a 3-0 win. Actually, I think Gladbach are often struggling against the teams that they really should be beating comfortably. But I think in this game they should win pretty clearly with how Fürth is doing. I can't really see them turn this around.
Good stuff. Moving on, we've got Hoffenheim hosting RB Leipzig. The incredibly hard to predict Hoffenheim and at times hard to predict RB Leipzig, really. So I think it makes it probably the hardest game to call so far. But I think I've seen rumours about Kramaric potentially not being fit. If that's the case, and I'm going with it, I'm saying a 3-1 away win to Leipzig. So Rune, can you confirm or deny those rumours, and what do you think to the score?
Yeah, Sebastian Hoeneß, Hoffenheim's coach, said at the pre-match conference that Kramaric is a doubt because he picked up a head injury during the international break, and he's not the only player from Hoffenheim who's a doubter who is struggling with injuries. Also saw that Christoph Baumgartner will miss the game, for example, and the likes of Robert Skov is still out as well. So and at the same time, Leipzig on a 7-game unbeaten run in the Bundesliga. So yeah, I think they will win this one 2-1.
2-1, okie doke. Moving on, Arminia Bielefeld host Wolfsburg in the last afternoon game on Saturday. Probably going to be a closer one this, but Wolfsburg's form, obviously under the new head coach, has been pretty impressive so far. So I think they'll just about continue. I'm saying 2-1 away win. Bruno, what do you think to this one?
I've gone for a 2-0 win away win for Wolfsburg here. Bielefeld did get their first win of the season before the international break, but they're generally struggling this season, and I think Wolfsburg are the better side. And like you said, Roy, they've shown a lot of promise under Florian Kohfeldt, so I'm backing them here.
Good stuff. Saturday evening brings us our first Berlin derby of the season. So Union are at home; they face Hertha. Hopefully we can start seeing, quite a bit more of this derby with the two teams starting to improve and settle into the Bundesliga. So I'm going to say it's going to be a very good and entertaining game, but I'm going to sit on the fence and say 2-2 draw. Rune, what do you think to this one?
Yeah, I'm backing Union to win this game, a narrow 2-1 win. I've been quite impressed with them this season and how they've managed to stay focused in the Bundesliga despite playing in Europe as well. And I think they're a really tough side to beat, and especially at home, they've been very, very good this season. At Hertha, meanwhile, have lost 4 of the last 6 away games, and I'm still not that impressed with them. So I think Union will take this with a narrow win.
Good stuff. Also, if you want to know more about the Berlin derby, we do indeed have a bit of a mini series running on that. So we did one last season on the Berlin derby. So just go to the Over the Bar homepage, give it a click, and you can find out more about the history of the Berlin derby. And of course, we are going to be running more of that series, and we're going to be recording a couple new ones in the next few weeks. So please do keep your eyes peeled for that one. Right, moving on to Sunday's games. Yeah, Sunday. First game, we have Freiburg hosting Frankfurt. Again, should be a close game this, but I think strength, that we're seeing right now from Freiburg and obviously Frankfurt this season have been shadow of themselves, and have only picked up two wins in the Bundesliga in 11 games. That really is surprising. So I think that probably won't improve on Sunday, and I'm going to back Freiburg for a 2-1 home win.
Yeah, I think this could be a draw. Actually, I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Freiburg are still undefeated at home this season, and I can't really see them losing this game. But things did improve for Frankfurt before the international break, and I think they could take a point here.
Excellent stuff. And the final game of the weekend to round up, we've got Mainz hosting FC Cologne. So again, pretty close game to call this. Both teams have been very impressive to watch this season. Both, sitting very comfortably in the table. In fact, Mainz are, right in the hunt with regards to European football. And again, because I think it's quite close to call straight after the international break, I'm also going to sit on the fence with this one and say 1-1. Rune, your thoughts on the last game of the weekend?
Yeah, I also think this will be a draw. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I think it has the potential to be a really exciting game. Two very teams who can play very offensively and are very exciting to watch, I think. So a tight affair with plenty of goals.
Excellent stuff. Right-ho. That brings a close to our match day 12 predictions for the weekend coming up. Lots of good games to look forward to. So hopefully we see lots of entertaining games. Right then, obviously we are going to do a fresh fantasy draft for everyone that obviously is wanting to kind of update their teams after an international break, and we're going to jump into that. But first and foremost, we're going to do or announce our giveaway winner live on the show. We'll tweet it out afterwards as well, just to confirm it all. But obviously, if you didn't know, we've been running a giveaway with Bundesliga boxes. It's basically a Bundesliga Christmas box and a beanie/bobble hat. So obviously we had that running for the last week or so. Lots of good entries, which have really been good to see. It's been a real positive for us. And after a randomized draw, we can announce that the winner of the giveaway and will be receiving an early Christmas present is Anna. So Anna obviously was entered on our Twitter page. So I'm afraid, Anna, I don't know your second name, but we've got you at obviously on Twitter. So we'll be announcing that and tagging you in it and contacting you with regards to setting up delivery for the Christmas box and beanie and bubble hat. So Anna, congratulations. Thank you for entering. Thank you to everyone for entering. Fortunately, if obviously you didn't win this time, please do keep your eyes peeled, because we'll try and do a few more giveaways this season as it goes on. Brilliant prize and a brilliant product. So again, congratulations, Anna. And yeah, really good giveaway. Really enjoyed doing that. So we shall look forward to doing a few more in the future. Righty-ho. So let's refocus then back onto Bundesliga fantasy football. And of course, let's have a quick look at the scores on the doors with regards to our bully news and over the bar league. So as it stands right now, Mark is still continuing to drop down the table, unfortunately for him. So he's 205th. I've stayed consistent at least, and I'm still 182nd. And Rune, and indeed his joint arch rival at the time, our BVB fan, I think our Irish BVB fan, have dropped a few places. So Rune's now in joint third, and we have a new Bundesliga Fantasy League leader, and that is Gladiator 11. So whoever you are, Gladiator 11, well done. You're obviously proving to be a match for Rune and co, so that's very impressive. Obviously, whoever you are, Gladiator 11, if you watch the show, let us know who you are, and very impressive stuff indeed. So keep that good work up. So yeah, we're going to kind of go straight into a fantasy draft, and I'll kind of mainly hand over to Rune, and we'll go through it just position by position, and we'll look at who Rune basically is going to pick for his team, and then obviously any extras that we want to throw in, and I'll maybe chirp in with a few players that I might throw in as well. So Rune, over to you. Let's start with your goalkeepers then. Let's have a look at the goalkeepers to start.
Yeah, first of all, I should say that you should be aware that you might not be able to pick the same team as me, because in this game you make money by owning a player while they increase in value, which means the size of the budget you have available now depends on how well you've been doing in the game so far. So just a little piece of information here before I go on with my team.
No problem.
My first goalkeeper is Mark Flecken from Freiburg, and he's been the highest scoring goalkeeper in the game so far, 87 points to his name, and he's playing for an informed team with some good fixtures on the horizon. So 7.4 million is not too bad, especially if you choose a cheap second goalkeeper, and that's what I'm going to do. My second goalkeeper will be Marius Funk from Greuther Fürth, and he might not pick up that many points, but he's still by far the cheapest starting goalkeeper. He only costs 1 million, so doesn't get any cheaper than that. So if you want to save some money on your second goalkeeper, I think he's your guy. And another good thing, if you want to combine him with Flecken, is that they play at different kickoff times in 5 of the next 6 games, as far as I remember. So you'll be able to switch between them during match days.
Good stuff. Right. Any other keepers that you're interested in then, obviously, apart from the 2 that you've gone for, with regards to good set of fixtures, or just generally speaking, keepers who are going to keep on picking up those points?
I also looked at Lude from Union Berlin as an alternative to Mark Flecken, because he's a bit cheaper, and he also combines well with Marius Funk in terms of different kickoff times. So I say he's an alternative if you can't afford Flecken. And obviously Manuel Riemann has also done very well, Bochum's goalkeeper. He even took a penalty last time, but judging by how that went, then I don't think he will get the chance again. But nevertheless, I still think he's quite a good pick.
Excellent stuff, right? And then, well, obviously, any keepers that you definitely want to avoid, like without a shadow of a doubt, don't put them in your team because of the fixtures that are coming up, or just because of maybe their form this season.
I'd say that in general, just avoid keepers that are too expensive, because as I said at the start of the season, picking Manuel Neuer or Peter Gulaschi won't make much sense, because I think those money you can spend that money better elsewhere. So it's all about like picking some pretty cheap keepers that pick up a good amount of points regularly, and then spending big at other positions, I think.
Brilliant stuff. Right, and let's go through defenders, and then we'll get on to Gavin's question to break it up a little bit. So, righty-ho, defenders next. So we'll get rid of that below. So, yeah, on to you, Rune, again. Let's have a look at your 5-man defense.
Yeah, the first man is Joe Skelly from Gladbach. I think he's just extremely hard to look past at the moment. Provides excellent value for money, frees up fund for more expensive assets. Although Stefan Leiner is nearing his return from injury, I'm pretty sure that Skelly will stay in the starting 11 in the long run, either in his current position or on the left side of defense at the expense of Nets. So I think he's a really good pick, especially for the price. And my second pick is Nico Gieselman. Much like Skelly, I think he's pretty much a player that you need to own at this point because of his low price tag and the fact that he's picking up a lot of points. At the same time, he's already scored 3 goals despite being a defender, and picked up 94 points, which is the 3rd most in the game. So also Gieselman, very good pick. Still a very good pick. My 3rd pick is Freiburg's Christian Günther, and he's actually been the best producing defender in the game so far this season, with 107 points to his name. And I can't really see why he shouldn't continue in a similar way. I think Freiburg's fixtures look fine to me. So still looks like a very good pick. My 4th player, actually I was going to pick Alphonso Davies, but I watched Julian Nagelsmann's press conference earlier today, and he revealed that Davies is unlikely to start. So instead, I'll probably go for Paulo Otavio from Wolfsburg, at least for this round. I mean, we can see Bayern's lineup actually, so we will see if Davies starts. But even if he does, then it seems pretty likely that it will be subbed off early if he's tired and coming back late from international break. So I think Otavio is a really good pick for this game. At least he did very well last week, and then I'll probably keep some money in the bank so that I can potentially take him out and upgrade him to Davies next week.
Okay.
And my 5th pick, it's a bit of a gamble, I'd say, and yet at the same time it's not, because it's Rafael Guerreiro from Dortmund, and as I said earlier during the predictions, it looks like he will come back into the starting 11 this Saturday. But yeah, he's generally a very good fantasy asset. He scored, I think, 10 points per game on average this season, which is very good. But my only concern is that we don't really know if he will need a bit of time to get up to full speed after he's been out injured for a while. But I'm taking the chance for this home game against Stuttgart, and I think he has enough quality to get off to a good start after his injury break.
Good stuff. Right. Before we kind of ask a few more questions about defenders, let's field Gavin's questions. So we'll start with this first one. We'll get it up on screen here. So which OOP players or differentials would you pick for match day 12? to try and better your OR. And obviously, Gavins noted a good few players below: Mittelstadt, Grifo, Octavio, Nemanja, Burkhardt, Serdar, Suarez. So obviously, we've already seen a couple of names there that have been mentioned by you, Rune. So do you want to just give that a run in terms of trying to field that question?
Yeah, sure. I think you mentioned a lot of good picks, Gavin. I'd say, yeah, Otavio, I just mentioned him. I think he has a lot of potential. He was also very good last season and a very consistent player to have in your team last season. So he's certainly a good pick in defense. If you're looking for a cheaper player, then Aaron Martin from Mainz looks like a good player to pick. He has started the last 4 games in all competitions, and he's on set pieces. And I just read that Anderson Lukoki has been ruled out for the next 4 or 5 weeks, I think. Mainz announced. So it looks like he will be nailed on to start down the left-hand side for Mainz. Further up the pitch, I'd say that Suarez is a good pick as well from Bochum. I think they've done quite well defensively, so it's also a good pick. Further up the pitch, I'd say, Adli from Leverkusen could be like a cheeky differential. He's a quite big gamble. He's yet to score this season, but it looks like he will start up front for Leverkusen this week with Patrick Schick and Lucas Alario unlikely to make the starting 11. So yeah, he's really an out of position player, and his ownership percentage is 0%. So yeah, he has the potential to really accelerate this week.
Yeah.
Up front, I'd say, yeah, Burkhardt is still somewhat of a differential, but I think that Unisivo, his teammate, is more of a differential actually, and he has nearly picked up the same amount of points. So if you want to set yourself apart from many of the other players, then he might be the guy to go for instead actually. And one final pick could be Alessandro Plea from Gladbach. A home game against Greuther Fürth. I think his ownership percentage is down to 1%, something like that. And yeah, obviously playing up front for a Gladbach side against the bottom place side, he has the potential to score really big. So that's another good differential pick this week, I'd say.
Good stuff. Yeah, and just to pick up on Gavin's kind of second comment a little bit further down, currently in 68th place. So yeah, doing very well, Gavin. Certainly a lot better than me, and you look like you've got more potential to do a lot better as well than I am. And he's again referred to the Davies, Alphonso Davies situation. So yeah, it looks like the advice is from Rune basically to maybe give Guerrero the nods this weekend and maybe look to bring in Davies going ahead, and some brilliant differentials as well that Rune has just gone through. So hopefully that answers your question, Gavin. And yeah, hopefully that gives you the advice that you need to push on up into the top 50 and beyond in our league. Right, let's move on then to the top end of the pitch. So let's start with our midfielders then, Rune. Let's go through these now then, your 5 midfielders.
Yeah, first one is Florian Kainz. I think he's been, from FC Cologne, he's been very consistent this season. Picked up 8 points on average, and I think his price is fairly low considering his output and the fact that Köln actually have a quite favorable run of fixtures. So second pick, Florian Wirtz. It came as a shock when he was ruled out of Leverkusen's last Bundesliga game on the day that the game was played. So that's something you can't really prepare for as a fantasy Bundesliga coach. But nevertheless, he has said that he feels ready to make his return against Bochum this weekend. And with the performances he's shown this season, he's a pretty safe pick as well. Third pick is Jonas Hofmann. He has been the best producing Gladbach player, and they take on Fürth at home. So I think that he's pretty self-explanatory. I wouldn't go into this match day without him, at least. So yeah, that was the third pick. Fourth pick is Leon Goretzka. I think many players have been considering which Bayern asset to go with in midfield this season, to go with Kimmich or Goretzka, but to me, there's no longer any question that Goretzka is a better option. Not only is he cheaper, he's also picked up more points on average this season, and he's vaccinated against Corona, unlike Kimmich. And yeah, again, he's a huge doubt for tomorrow's game because he's not vaccinated, and he missed out on Germany's last few games because he's not vaccinated. So I think there's too much uncertainty surrounding Kimmich at the moment, especially considering how attractive Goretzka is as an alternative. So I'll go with him over Kimmich at the moment. And the fifth pick is Nkunku, who is really tearing up the league this season, and I think he's just impossible to look past at the moment.
Good stuff. And obviously, I think we've already kind of touched upon other potential midfielders, haven't we? So that would be a good place to move on. And so last but definitely not least, the forward line that Rune, you're going to pick for this weekend.
Yeah, as I talked about earlier, a lot of fantasy players will probably be looking to bring in Jonathan Burkhardt from Mainz, which makes perfect sense because he's been in excellent form. But personally, I'm tempted to go with Unisivo instead. His partner in crime up front. He's owned by fewer players, which makes him more of a differential. And although he hasn't been scoring as many goals as Burkhardt, he's actually been doing almost as well as his partner in terms of fantasy points. And at the same time, he's actually performing better when it comes to expected goals per 90 minutes and expected assists per 90 minutes. So, but with that being said, I'm still considering whether to go with him or someone else because I just think there are so many interesting picks in his price bracket. So just to mention a few of the other players I'm considering for this position, I also like Anthony Modeste and Taiwo Avoni and Lucas Mecha as well. So there are a few players to consider, and I actually haven't really made my decision yet, but Unisivo is certainly a good player to go with. There are just so many good alternatives. And the two other picks, actually, I'm leaning towards picking Thomas Müller this time. I think his fantasy output is often overlooked because he's playing alongside Lewandowski, and he's getting a lot of the attention from Bayern. And many Bundesliga managers are concerned about doubling up on Bayern in attack, which I can understand because you're picking two players from the same team. So if they disappoint, then you might not be in such a good position. But Müller is proving again and again, I think that he's just a really reliable fantasy asset. He has scored a total of 120 points this season, which is only second to Lewandowski. And last season, he was the third highest scoring player in the game, only behind Lewandowski and Andre Silva. So maybe it's time to acknowledge that he is just a really attractive fantasy option, and especially with Erling Haaland out, then I will consider doubling up this week on Bayern because the third pick is obviously Robert Lewandowski, scoring goals for fun and will continue to do so. So pretty self-explanatory as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Doubling up on Bayern. Do you think that's something of a long-term strategy then, doubling up on Bayern for now? As obviously, as you very rightly mentioned, without Haaland around, that kind of takes out the second must-have, doesn't it? Really, in that forward line. I think as long as Haaland is out, then it makes sense to double up. Although, as I said, it is obviously a bit of a gamble because you won't be able to switch between to pick a third striker if Bayern is not doing well. But then again, Bayern are usually doing well, and Müller is usually doing well. So and on most occasions you will star Lewandowski anyway, despite which other options you have because he's doing so well every week. So I think as long as Haaland is out, it's a good strategy. Yeah, good stuff. A comment in from David Navas. Good evening to you, David. Obviously, we got David Olmo. Either way around, not sure of his first name. But fine player for RB Leipzig. Not seen the same sort of form from Olmo maybe as last season, have we, Rune? Is he someone that on top form, you'd probably have him in your team, I guess?
Yeah, it seems like he's like getting back to form, and Jesse Marsch has been spoken very positive about him, and we might see him starting again soon, I think.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for your comment, David. Any team with a bit of Spanish flair in there is always welcome, isn't it? So pretty much bang on half an hour is a good time to close the show. So thank you very much for Rune for providing all your brilliant hints and tips. Obviously, feel free to copy as much of Rune's team as you possibly can do. The fact that he's in joint third in our league goes to show he knows exactly what he's talking about, and he will be homing in on first place very soon again, I am sure. So yeah, another brilliant show. Let's hope for another brilliant weekend of Bundesliga action. Back on Monday evening, of course, for our review show. Hopefully, we'll have another guest for you as well. So we'll keep on rolling out the surprises. Again, congratulations to Anna for winning our giveaway. Again, it was really, really positive to have so many people getting involved in that. Again, obviously, Johnny B, thanks for watching as well, everyone. Brilliant show as always. Hopefully, Mark will be back next Thursday. He'll definitely be back on Monday. And just to close up the show, make sure that you do indeed follow Over the Bar FB and the Extra page. Follow Bully News, of course, on Twitter. Go to the website, www.otbfootball.net. The YouTube channel, of course, please do drop us a subscribe. Click the bell icon as well so you don't miss out on any shows or indeed any extra giveaways that might pop up as well. So brilliant show as always. Rune, thank you very much. Brilliant tips and advice as always. And we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.